We're heading into the holiday season in comic book land. So, what does that mean from stories, from shops to things being sold? Well, let me give you some examples. Hey there, this is Perch. I'm still trying to, it's weird to say, like, I mean, we're 300 some odd videos in, more, and I still feel like I'm trying to get the cadence, the opening down with what I say. Again, for those of you who are joining the channel newer, I generally do these while I'm driving. So I'm in my commute, there's heavy traffic, put in the headset, that's why the audio quality is the way it is. Continue to look into other options. I tried one of those little clip mics, and the background noise is terrible. So anyway, still working on that. But I think it creates some randomness in my thoughts because I'm, trying to at least 50% pay attention to the road, maybe 20% pay attention to the road. I need one of the, I need a Tesla. It would just drive me where I want to go without touching anything, and then the quality will improve. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a GoFundMe for a Tesla so I can do better videos. That's the plan. All right, we're all on board with that. Anyway, Christmas time. Christmas time is funny where comics are concerned because it's first there's a couple different elements. There's stories that are kind of Christmas based or holiday based, and then there's kind of what happens during the month of December and kind of what sales are like, and then there's just kind of the general marketing aspect to everything. So from the story standpoint, most comics will kind of come out with some kind of like Christmas themed, holiday themed story. In recent years, I've heard there's a bit of a mandate to back off of that a little bit, or at least not make it Christmas, make it more, generic holiday featured, but also kind of a mandate to not do too much in terms of weather. Like don't have the winter issues have snow and have the summer issues have summer because people picking up for trade will be picking up at different times of the year, and all the rest. I think that part personally is a big mistake. I know that a lot of people that I've talked to over the years and sold to and other things like kind of that feeling of seasonality in comics. They like it. A lot of fond memories of kind of holiday themed episodes or episodes with a backdrop of the holidays or at least just snow and winter things. That was always good. But that's not really what we have now anymore. And I get why it's a scheduling issue. There's also the problem where some of these stories would get delayed or come out in a weird way. Or, I mean, the most baffling case in the 80s, there were a bunch of comics Marvel did that were Christmas themed that would drop in like March. And so you're like, did you start working on this at Christmas time, or what happened here? Did it get to be like second week of December and the writer's like, oh crap, I'm feeling festive. I think I'll do a Christmas story, and it's like, and it delivers in April. I don't know. There's been stuff like that. Probably one of the reasons why they've pushed away from it. In terms of store sales, I would say as a general rule, the Christmas shopping, and there's some stores that absolutely disagree with this, but Christmas shopping doesn't really impact comic stores as much, not as much as other places. Giving comics as a gift, it's funny. The stores will do this every year. Like, have you considered comics as a gift? It's like that. Nobody considers comics as a gift. They just don't. Uh, I don't know why. I mean, but there are now. In fairness, there are always people who come in and want to buy that one expensive back issue and all the rest. Those are always the funniest conversations. Like, hey, my husband, boyfriend, whatever, likes this guy in a red mask, and do you have a comic, like an original of comic of his? And then comes the 20 questions like, okay, red mask. You mean Spider-Man? No. Deadpool? Maybe. Okay. Does the guy have a gun? No. Pouches? Yes. All right. And you just try and drill down to what because people coming in trying to buy these gifts have no idea about comics, and will tell you this 800 times during the course of the conversation. Like, I have no idea about comics. Like, yeah, it's clear when you asked for the Spider-Man comic, that was a sign. And a giant truck right next to me, just blasting out pollutants into the air. It's yeesh. Anyway, so but generally speaking, a holiday time there is a slight pickup of sales. Certainly, of people coming in try to buy that one gift, you get rid of some back issues that way. Try and do some seasonal things, but typically speaking, and I know people who preference more back issues and current issues will see more of a bump for those kinds of things. Christmas isn't the big sales bonanza that it is for other mall stores and other things. It just happens to be. It's also a weird month because you have that 1 week between Christmas and New Year's when nothing of interest comes out. And then Marvel started dropping kind of first issues of things, almost like big important issues in that week. And the comic stores appreciated that. It brought people to the stores during that break, and that was a good thing. But it's often kind of random, and it's sometimes prone to delays, and the comic shipment's usually kind of light. So people, if they know they've saved something, will just come in the following week or whatever else. So spend that holiday week with family or whatever they're doing. So it's just a weird scheduling time, and DC almost always forgets it entirely, and sometimes we'll do something. This year, I mean, will before Watchmen, or sorry, not before Watchmen, Doomsday Clock. Will Doomsday Clock number 12 drop before or after Christmas? Place your bets. But anyway, it's just kind of an odd time for sales in the shop and in general. And I think there's things that could be done, but it's tough. And then there's kind of the general marketing side of things where I think a lot of comic publishers, especially lately, have gotten savvy, more Marvel than DC in this regard, to this idea of like, hey, we're entering a new year. It's going to be 2020. So what kind of big comic book initiatives, things we want to sell, graphic novel, what kind of big things do we want to tease up right before the end of the year so people kind of get excited about the next year of comics? Marvel has kind of gravitated more to this calendar view of getting excited about the new year as a thing. DC has worked more with the summer and the fall, and it feels like they're still kind of on that path where DC really starts firing stuff up. And Marvel, I mean, who am I kidding? Marvel will do a hey, there's a new number ones thing to care about, 4 times a year, not just once. But between the two companies, Marvel tends to place more emphasis on that. It's a new year. Here's some new storylines. Here's some new things coming. And this year we got incoming, and we've got some general initiatives going on there. But this is feeling like a weird year, 2019 to 2020. This transition period is feeling very strange. A lot of things kind of up in the air. We have some big runs, Tom King and Scott Snyder's runs ending. We have new Thor, so you have Jason Aaron's Thor stuff wrapping up. We have a new X-Men that's kind of forging its own path. We have this feeling like Jason Aaron on the Avengers is nearing some kind of conclusion, or that we can't quite tell, but it feels like something's coming to a close soon, and a lot of just turnover. We had the big kind of hype of Donny Cates on Guardians of the Galaxy, and now Donny Cates off Guardians of the Galaxy, and so there's a lot of stuff moving around, and it's a weird. This year feels strange, I think, and true with comic stores in general, retailers and fans. There's a lot more. I won't say trepidation, but there's a lot more kind of really big question marks because things aren't all bleak or all good. We have the whole X-Men line that's really been revitalized, a lot of attention going toward that, but then some question marks of like, seems like a lot of titles in there. Are we going to saturate the market before it's ready? And then we have what's this DC 5G and the new Crisis that's coming and kind of the big summer events, and how are we going to lead to that? And then there's this feeling like a lot of talent may be turning over in both companies, either switching or people leaving Marvel or going to DC. We have a lot of kind of creators that seem very very depressed lately on social media. So it's hard to kind of gauge where things are going. But anyway, but that's a little bit on Christmas time, holiday time, whatever you happen to want to call it. Do you have any questions about this? Any thoughts, comments, things that you'd like to hear more about how the companies either handle the holidays or what it means to stores, to sales, anything like that? Drop me a comment. Love to hear your comments, your thoughts, your opinions. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch. Like, subscribe if you don't mind. And thanks for listening.